what's up? Just Aaron right here at Question Period Canada. This scandal, these Liberals, they just keep coming. The scandals keep coming, but the Liberals keep getting away with it. I want Canadians to see this. They can make up their own minds, but there are scandals and they just keep getting away with wasting our tax dollars. I don't understand, but let's get into this scandal, which for some reason, the media does not cover this scandal. They don't ask any questions. I'm the only person I've seen ever do a story on this, and it is ridiculous. Wait and see. Let's get into it. It's about the Governor General, and let's do a little background on the Governor General. This story is a little confusing because it involves dry cleaning laundry and laundering money, but they're just like words that sound similar. Well, it's money washing, and well, let's find out a little bit more about money laundering.
What's the problem?
I got too much money.
Is it in your mattress? Is it in a jelly jar buried in the side yard, huh?
Yeah, the problem with having all that money is that sooner or later you're going to have to explain where it came from.
You got any ideas?
Maybe we could launder the money.
That's a great idea. Okay, how do we do that?
Way ahead of you. We declared just enough so as not to arouse suspicion, then Walt's one-time winnings become seed money for an investment.
I deposit the cash into the account of a dummy finance company. Now, then I issue you a cashier's check in his name.
Make it out to Ice Station Zebra Associates. That's my loan out. It's totally legit. It's done just for tax purposes.
You give it back to me as collateral on a loan that I make to you, but you don't pay back the loan.
So where's it all go? Oh, he down with all kind of missionary work going on down in the islands.
We got accounts with some of the banks down there. Donations come in as cash. Cashier's checks come out.
It is now laundered.
They the ones who make a path for all that street corner money. They showing all these kingpin motherfuckers how to send it overseas, bring it back, invest the shit.
If they ever trace any of those accounts, they're gonna wind up chasing a figment of my imagination.
What stopped them getting to you?
Tiny-ass Caribbean island, don't truck with no subpoenas, no court orders, none of that.
You got nothing on me. You know it, I know it. I'm changing dollar bills.
Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, learning about money laundering with cool clips. Anyhow, we're going to get into the Governor General right now and what the scandal really is. The 30th and current Governor General of Canada is Mary Simon, who was sworn in on 26th of July in 2021. She's an Inuk leader from Nunavut in Quebec. Simon is the first Indigenous person to hold the office. She was nominated on July 6, 2021 to replace Julie Payette, who had resigned in January. Richard Wagner, the Chief Justice of Canada, had served as Administrator of the Government of Canada in the interim. Let's take a peek what the role includes, where it comes from, how it's chosen. The King, on the advice of his Canadian Prime Minister, appoints a Governor General to carry on the Government of Canada in the King's name, performing most of his constitutional and ceremonial duties. Yes, so King Charles, on the advice of Prime Minister Trudeau, chose Mary Simon as the 30th Governor General of Canada for his ceremonial duties. That's it, really. It's kind of a BS position. So a key factor in this story is ALAIN Rayes, and we have some information on him right here. He's an orphan MP, used to be a Conservative, now he's an Independent. How did that happen? Let's find out. ALAIN Rayes was first elected in 2015 as a Conservative for the Richmond-Athabasca area of Quebec. He remained a Conservative until 2022, when after Pierre Poilievre won the Conservative leadership race, he left the caucus. Said he couldn't see eye to eye with Pierre Poilievre. They had different views. Now we have the background, what money laundering is, who the Governor General is, how she got there, and ALAIN Rayes, who's trying to break this story. Let's look at the story. ALAIN Rayes brought this to Parliament during question period.
The Honourable Member for Richmond-Athabasca. Mr. Speaker, after the Governor-General's lavish spending on international travel, we've learned her office spent over $117,000 on dry cleaning since 2018, an average of $1,800 per month. For fun, I did some calculations based on the going rate for these services. At the rates she's been spending, that's an average of 3 outfits a day, 365 days a year. Why doesn't the government cut her $33 million budget? What are they waiting for? Because she's clearly incapable of managing taxpayers' money seriously and responsibly.
So he drops that bomb, $1,800 a month on dry cleaning for 3 years. That's a ridiculous amount of money, no doubt. The place got really quiet. Pascal Saint-On, the Minister of Canadian Heritage, had this little bit to say, and then it was over. Check it out.
The Honourable Minister of Canadian Heritage. Mr. Speaker, the Governor-General has done important work for Canada. Obviously, we expect every dollar she spends to be done in a rigorous and conscientious way. Thank you.
Well, this brings to the end of question period.
We found it to be a really exciting story at the time, so we ran it, we made a video on it. It got some views, people liked it, but there was no major media covering this, and I was wondering when would the next time be that I'd hear about this story. It really sounds like money laundering to me. Put in the comments what you think. I gotta show you more of this story. We covered it pretty well back then. It seemed like money laundering to me, but do you remember when Alan Reyes brought forth the scandal about the amount of money that was being spent on the Governor General's dry cleaning? We tried to break that story. Nobody touched it. CTV, CBC, Global, nobody touched it. We tried to break that story. So at first, this happened. Just watching it live, right here. This is all that happened. We were watching it live and caught us by surprise. Here it is. Wound up. Today he seems to be
Mr. Speaker,
pretty easy
after
going.
the Governor General's lavish
an
spending
independent.
on international travel, we've learned her office spent over $117,000 on dry cleaning since 2018, an average of $1,800 per month.
Did
For
you hear what he
fun,
just
I
said?
did some calculations based on the going rate for these services.
$1,800 a
At the
month
rates she's been spending,
since 2018
that's
on
an average
dry
of
cleaning.
3 outfits a day, 365
That's gonna be
days
an
a
issue.
year. Why doesn't the government cut her $33 million budget? What are they waiting for? Because she's clearly incapable of managing taxpayers' money seriously and responsibly.
That's embarrassing. That's going to be a thing. That's interesting. Good. Yeah, we're getting late on time.
The Honourable Minister of Canadian Heritage. Mr. Speaker, the Governor-General
What is she going to
has
say to
done
that?
important work for Canada.
$33 million
Obviously,
worth of important
we
work?
expect every dollar she spends to be done in a rigorous and conscientious way. Thank
Oh,
you.
that was quick.
Well,
Not
this
even-
brings to the end of question period.
What?
I understand there's going to be a number of...
But then that story just went away. Nobody followed it up. Whatever. It's weird that nobody would follow up a scandal like that. We put out this piece trying to draw some attention. And we also criticized Alan Reyes for not following up his own story. But we've got more on that to come after this.
Mr. Speaker, every time
This
we
is
ask
Alan
questions
Reyes.
about
He
the
dropped
Governor
a scandal
General's
bomb 2
indecent
weeks ago. It was
spending,
wild.
The government gets a little offended. They pay lip service, but nothing is done to change the culture of this institution. The Governor General spends thousands on meals, alcoholic beverages, luxury
This is it.
hotels, trips,
This is
cleaning
it.
services, just to name a few. Imagine on a single plane trip, she even spent nearly
going back at
$1,000
it.
on slices of lime and lemon. You couldn't make this up. So I repeat my question to the government. Does the
is
government
awesome.
intend to cut its $33 million budget because clearly it doesn't seem to be able to manage taxpayers' money seriously and responsibly?
Pretty great.
The Honourable Minister.
That's an interesting
The
story.
Governor General does important work for Canada here and throughout the world. And of course, we expect all public office holders to spend every dollar with respect, with rigour, and in a conscientious way, respecting all Canadians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Last time he shut down the House
Et
with his
malheureusement,
last
ça nous mène à la fin du...
Unfortunately,
It happened again.
concludes and brings us to the end of our question period.
This is so wild, guys. That's 2 times in a row
That we have
that
a few
Alan
points of
Reyes
order.
dropped the bomb
The member for Regina Capel has the floor.
and they shut it down right afterwards. It's just really funny. I'm going to have to do some investigating. We've got some more things to do this evening, I guess. So that's fun. So guys, I'm just one person. I do feel like there is some journalist in me, but mostly we're here for entertainment, But that is a real story that's being ignored by CBC, CTV, Global, wherever you think you get your news from. Subscribe to my channel. It'll give you the real news, I think. Like, I'm only interested in letting you know the information. I don't think that my prerogatives are the same as CBC's priorities. That's all I'm saying. Like and subscribe. It is really funny to see how it changes when you're making videos like this, like improvements you make or just changes you make, because they're not always improvements. Sometimes, most of the time it goes up. But Alan Reyes comes back, third strike. Alan Reyes, I kind of thought was just going to go away with this story, but he didn't. He came back with more. So let's take a peek at where the scandal is now and what Alan Reyes brought to Parliament again. So this is taking place on November 8th, just so you know, November 8th.
Mr. Speaker, for weeks now, I've been asking questions about the Governor General's outrageous spending. Every time I get answers from ministers who feign offense and criticize reluctantly, but do nothing to change the ingrained culture of this institution. Meanwhile, GGs come and go, but the extravagant spending on meals, booze, luxury hotels, travel, and dry cleaning marches merrily along. So I ask the Prime Minister today, does his government intend to cut her $33 million budget? Because clearly, she doesn't seem to be able to manage taxpayers' money carefully and responsibly.
So for the third time, Alan Reyes brings his concerns about the Governor General's ludicrous spending to question period. But today, Justin Trudeau is in the House, so we'll get a straight answer about the Governor General's spending, won't we?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the Governor General, Mary Simon, is an upstanding, humane, caring person, and she plays an important role in our society and democracy. We will continue to see to it that her spending is managed appropriately, but the fact is she has a very important role for the stability and future of our democracy. Unfortunately.
And unfortunately, this concludes question period.
That right there is why I can't trust Trudeau anymore. This scandal, and that's how he defends it, says that she's an upstanding, caring, wonderful person, whatever. This ludicrous spending is being ignored. I don't know why the scandal isn't being touched by major media. We're covering it and trying to get the story out there so that you know, trying to make Canadian politics fun. I don't know where this goes. We'll be following it. Just holding true to our word that we are following this. This scandal, the Governor General, ludicrous spending, sounds like, smells like, looks like money laundering. I don't know. How do they get away with it? These liberals and our tax dollars, right? Like, now we're on credit, like bragging about some AAA rating for being able to borrow money. Why would a nation like ours need to borrow money? Like, come on.
Subscribe,
it's
and
ludicrous.
comment. That'd be great.
I'm Aaron. This is
Love
Question Period Canada. We're having fun with Canadian politics right here. What is up with the Governor General's spending? Come on.